This is Curtis Potter Jr. with Boundless Motivation. I wanted to tell you about a story that touched my heart and will change the way I think for the rest of my life. It was last night while Brooke and I were volunteering at Amazing Grace. Now, if you don't know about Amazing Grace and Dalton's Food Pantry and JR's Used Tires and everything that they do for our community, you really should check them out because it's an amazing group of people who is touching the lives here in Indianapolis, Indiana. They brought us in and allowed us to volunteer, which helped us tremendously. Man, just giving back to these little kids, I never even knew what this night was about to entail. So after they had fed all the children, they separated them into groups. I went with the group of kids that were a little bit older, from around 8 to 18. They had a guest speaker come in, and this lady had given her testimony. She had talked about her life and the struggles of when she was a child, and then how it went with her into her mentality for her young adulthood and into her adult life. It was truly heartbreaking, but also inspirational, as she had the strength and the courage to speak about what she had gone through. You could see these kids, they were just eyes drawn up to her. You could tell that they all had felt some kind of connection with her on something they had been going through themselves. After she was done talking, she asked everyone, anyone else have something they'd like to say? And this little girl, around 11 years old, raised her hand. I'm not going to tell you what she said because it's her story to tell, but she had been taken from her parents through DCS, and the next home she went to was probably 10 times worse than the one she was taken out of. So you can imagine some of the pain and some of the stories she was even telling us. She had mentioned there were times where she almost gave up. She was losing hope. She just thought there wasn't a light at the end of the tunnel. And Amazing Grace was actually the thing that kept pushing her forward. See, I had connected with that little girl and that guest speaker. And at that moment, when I was thinking about how strong this little girl was being, my pocket started to heat up. See, I actually had a rock in my pocket similar to this one. It wasn't this one, but it was similar, and it had a cross etched in it. It was given to me last year, and every single day I had that rock in my pocket. And anytime I was going through struggles, trials, and tribulations, I would get that rock out and I would rub on that cross. And I would say out the name Jesus. And I swear, every single time, it felt like God was with me. He would ease my heart and give me strength and hope and get me through that hard situation. As that little girl was speaking, I could feel it was like it was just heating up in my pocket. And then I asked God what was going on, and He told me, you need to give this rock to that little girl. See, I never thought I was going to give up that rock. I was like, I'm going to keep this rock forever. But God had other plans. I found this verse in 1 John chapter 3, verse 16 through 18. It says, this is how we know what love is. Jesus Christ laid down His life for us, and we ought to lay down our lives for our brothers and sisters. If anyone has material possessions and see a brother or sister in need, but has no pity on them, how can the love of God be in them? Dear children, let us not love with our words, but our actions and our truth. After that night was over, I went up to that little girl and I said, I need to talk to you. I want to tell you about this rock and what it's done for me. Every single time I was struggling and I couldn't find hope and I was wanting to give up, I would pull out this rock and I would say Jesus' name. And He would come, He would give me strength, and He would give me hope. And I'm giving it to you today. And I put it in her hand, and as I closed her hand, she just looked in my eyes. And you could see the weight lifted off her shoulders. Man, that little girl was so strong and only 11 years old. And God was telling me, It's time to give it to this little girl and give her hope and strength. I told her to get it out every single time she's struggling. Just rub on it and call out Jesus' name. And you could see that smile and how much it meant to her. Today, my 3 tips: turn your test into a testimony. Turn your mess into a message. And give someone else hope. Because, see, hope is the only thing that is stronger than doubt. And hope turns into faith. And if you can give somebody a little bit of hope, a little bit of faith, it might change their life. See, only one act of kindness can completely change the direction of somebody's life. And all I could hope for is that it was going to do the same thing for that little girl. I hope this helps you, everyone. God bless you. Have a great day.